Munchkins and viewers alike, it's me Munchie and welcome back to another one of my Munchie Talks. So I have my puppy Minty here with me today as she is thinking that I am talking to her. Thanks Minty. So sorry about this guys, You just want attention. You just want attention. Yeah, it's not like you want to be in this video showing everybody how cute you are, because you know you're adorable little puppy. So hey guys, it is going to be one of those times where I am going to be talking to you about something serious that is happening here on YouTube that is something very negative, and I want to talk about it. So if you guys follow any pet channels on YouTube, there's probably going to be somebody you follow that is going to be talking about this and or tweeting about this. There has been for a very long time people who disregard animals as living beings, and what happens is they use those beings as fear or shock value in their videos. We saw this last year with Logan when he was tasing a dead rat and also trying to revive a fish that did not need to be revived, it just needed to breathe in water. Anyways, people blew up about that, and surprisingly enough, a lot of people didn't realize that has been going on in the YouTube community for a while now, where people are using animals and are neglecting these animals. And they might not realize it's neglecting because a lot of the times people are like, oh, well, I'm not, abusing it, I'm not doing anything to harm it. However, stress can harm and kill most animals, as well as sometimes people just don't realize that they are getting way too out of hand because they have so much of that YouTube money and or power, because they think that this is their lifestyle and they don't see to change themselves. So the people in question today, I'm gonna just throw it out there, I'm going to say their names. No way of me telling you guys to go harass these people, because honestly I don't feel like we should be violent. We should be very vocal, but we should not be vocal as in harassing vocal, but vocal about like, hey, this is how we want our community to look and to be represented, as well as we just want to make sure the animals in your care are not actually getting harmed and or stressed, especially during specific events. So the two people in question is David Dobrik and Brian. I'm so sorry about the last name, I'm not going to pronounce it, but Brian from SnakeBytes TV. These two people were at Playlist Live, and Brian decided he was going to sneak in some animals, which is great because on an educational part you want to educate people about animals. However, when David took over, he took one of his animals and went around the facility trying to scare or frighten people, which is the most irresponsible thing you could possibly do as an educator. Because as somebody who grew up with the reptile man going to my elementary, middle, and high school even, this guy was amazing. He wanted to educate people. He didn't want people to be afraid, especially of like snakes and tarantulas, because a lot of people tend to be fearful of those. He wanted to open up people's eyes. Now, seeing Brian as an educator as well as a mass breeder, because this facility is huge to breed specific morphs of different types of snakes and or leopard geckos, so on and so on, I thought Brian would know better than to use his animals as kind of a scare factor. And I noticed with Brian too that he likes to use his thumbnails as kind of clickbaity, and I didn't really like that. So I was actually a big follower of, well, maybe not that big follower of Brian, and I really did like, to see his different morphs and to see how he takes care of his animals and just to see Lori and see his dogs. Now, unfortunately, with this fear factor and shock value of videos as of recently and within the last, I want to say, couple of years, Brian is now fitting under that category, which is disappointing because he has 1.2 million followers, and I do believe he might have apologized to this because it started to blow up on Twitter and people started to call him out for it. But it's just unfortunate to see that this has been associated with another person, David Dobrik, who actually throws animals at his friends and his roommates and says, hey, I'm gonna blindfold you, I'm gonna put an animal on you, here we go. And a lot of the times if you saw those videos, there would be like a tarantula in there getting thrown around, and tarantulas, oh my goodness, they are so fragile creatures. And then you see a bunch of rats getting released in an apartment, and rats, they are so social, they are so intelligent, and people don't realize this. And just having so many just being thrown into an apartment just for like the thumbnail as well as the title, and then seeing them in there for like about 20 seconds, it's really disappointing. So knowing that Brian was associated with David, who has already known to be one of those types of people that just doesn't seem to care about the welfare and just wants his video to do well because it has so many interesting things in its title and or in the video, and also just randomly gifting friends animals, that is not okay, and we need to stand up to this. Now, I understand Brian is probably going to be apologizing for one, his mistakes, or two, just because he he doesn't want this to be blowing up. So Brian, if you're ever watching this video, I don't hate you. I actually really liked you, but unfortunately with this last past event that happened at Playlist and just being associated with the wrong type of people, even though, you know, you're probably good friends with them, I'm just gonna say this now, wrong type of people for your animals. If you really care about education and conservation like you say you do in your videos and on Twitter, then I cannot follow somebody like you right now as it is. If you improve in the future, I would love to subscribe back to you, but I just can't support something like this. But with your recent videos saying you almost got eaten alive by a crocodile, I mean, I don't know how much you're actually willing to change. So now the next person is going to be David, and I've already talked a little bit about David just throws animals in his video. He released a bunch of skunks in his friend's apartments, and it just seems like he's very negligent of these animals and where they come from. I don't know if he gets them off of Craigslist, I don't know what happens, but with the Gabby show, she actually said that he did get a sugar glider that he gifted her off of Craigslist. So this guy has a bunch of money, he will go out there, he will get animals, or maybe he's just renting animals, I don't know. I kind of feel like he knows somebody that's into reptiles and things like that, and that's where he got a tarantula from. But if you look in these videos, it is just so upsetting, especially with Liza, because I really like Liza, but after seeing her react to having a tarantula on her and like throwing that thing around while it's clinging for dear freaking life at that height, it could kill it if it falls off of her. People associating with these types of people is showing the YouTube community that it's okay to do this because you're making money off of it, because you're getting a laugh out of it, and I'm not supportive of that. I might not have the biggest voice, but I have a lot of friends who they do not want to see this. They don't. It's really upsetting, especially I cannot get that tarantula out of my head that I saw on his channel. And thank you so much for Tyler, thank you for Lori Heartland, thank you to Jessica's Animal Friends for just sharing what should be out there and just using common sense. You do not want to be taken out of your comfort zone and then to be put in a very stressful situation, especially at events. When you go to events, you want to make sure your animals are well taken care of, as well as you need a permit for some types of events to actually display animals. But in this case, it was just for Brian at Playlist Live, irresponsibleness, just going around showing animals, because people could have got hurt. Even though it was a tiny little baby alligator, you never know, maybe a pinky was lost. It really does stink that these things have to happen, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, so please leave a comment down below about this. I'm just saying these are people that are known to the public more, that have seen this type of behavior. There's probably other YouTubers, like I mentioned, that I'm not even talking about, because guess what? Playlist Live just happened, and that is why we are talking about this. I'm not just singling these individuals out just because, one, I did follow Brian for a while until I just recently stopped. Two, I knew about David, so just having them both be associated, I mean, those are just the easiest people to talk about right now. But when negligence of animals happens, I can't stand by and be like, okay, you know, he knows what he's doing, he's a professional, yeah. But honestly, in some of these videos, every person I see is reminding me of a small child being very hyper and not seeming to care about anything around its space, just within its bubble. That's my thoughts today. I hope you guys don't mind if I have a different opinion than you. Like I said, I loved Brian for a little bit. Now I'm just gonna stop until I see some improvement in his channel where I actually like the content, like what he's educating, and don't see any of this shit anymore. So thanks guys, I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit like to show support, and subscribe if you would like to see more content from me in the future and become a part of the Munchkin family. Thanks everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!